Good afternoon, guys. It's Darren from Jace Media right here in Glasgow. And in the chair this evening, all the way from Nashville, is country Americana star, Miss Audra Mclaughlin. Audra, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be on your show. I can't thank you enough.
Listen, we'll have a laugh. You'll be asking me all the time, what did I say? And pardon me, and it'll be great. And we'll have some subtitles, and it'll be cool. It'll be good. It'll be
Right.
good. So you've just got back from visiting the folks and now straight back into music. How has it been during lockdown? Have you been able to do much into the studio, write, perform?
Yeah, so when things kind of first shut down back in, I guess it was, it was crazy because we had the tornado in March of, I think it was like March 3rd or something last year. And then a few weeks later, my parents came to visit for St. Patty's weekend. And then right after that, everything shut down. So immediately, we all went to pretty much lockdown, and all of my gigs, like for the next 2 or 3 months, were completely canceled. So my roommate was kind enough to not charge me rent, and I basically just went back home to stay with my parents and sort of like quarantine with them. And so during that time, I did Facebook Lives to maybe try to make a little bit of money, through tips and things. And just a lot of virtual concerts and stuff like that. But I think most of that time I spent being also like creative and writing a ton of music, and just so, because we had all that time to do that. So it was like I didn't want to waste that time just kind of lollygagging. But
good to lollygag, Audra. It's good to lollygag, get it out there.
Once in a while, right. Once in a while, I'm like, but yeah, so then once kind of things started to slowly open back up a little bit, I was mostly doing outdoor gigs for a while, just kind of socially distanced, and, the stage was far away from people and those sorts of things. So that was hard at first because, my favorite thing to do is interact with people that come up and say, I love your music. And, where can I follow you? And, how can I see you next show? And us being, trying to, make everybody safe and to keep ourselves safe. So we had to, do the socially distance stuff. And to an extent, I'm definitely still doing that now because, we all still are not out of the hole, I guess you could say, right? Out of the water yet. So truth be told, we still have to be safe, but I've still been very lucky to consistently be working after the shutdown. And so it's been a challenge, but we just got to do what we can do.
You have to get on with it,
Yeah,
when COVID first hit in Britain, I was put on what they call furlough scheme, where I basically sat at home and got paid for 8 months.
Right.
And then the next month they paid me off. I'm like, yeah, thank you for that. So I kind of, the music, my music is I'm so busy, there's not enough hours in the day like you guys, I mean, I've probably got 30, 40, 50, 60 pieces of music every week,
Wow.
So there's so much music being made, and I kind of think to myself, where are all these people coming from? All this music, it's like everywhere. I was saying to the young lady I was interviewing today, I was reviewing death metal yesterday. Wow. I said to my boss, there's an hour and a half of my life I'm never going to get back because my head was like just wasted with death metal. And then I was doing some country stuff and some Americana, and the young lady this afternoon, she was a young country artist, and she was thanking me so much for my in-depth review of her EP, and I said to her, listen, it's a pleasure to do country and blues and Americana, because it's such a change from heavy metal, and thrash metal and death metal, and stuff like that. It's fantastic because I think you can really connect, like you were saying earlier on, you connect with the audience. And so and I connect, with you. I have my review that I did of your song.
I love it,
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to send. I don't even know if you have it, but I'm going to send it to you. I'll forward it on to you, and you can keep that and
Awesome.
say this crazy big Scottish guy sent me a review. What's all that about?
I
No,
love it. I'll have
no.
it added to my website if you don't mind.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right.
And what I say to people is that this is the funnest part of my job, getting to chat to stars, to groups, to bands who just want to come on and talk about music, and it's so great.
Oh yeah, my favorite thing to do is talk about music. It's like funny, like my parents and I, whenever I go home or they come here, that's all we talk about is like, oh, what's going on? How's the music? And sometimes my mom's like, oh, I need a break from talking about the music industry. But I mean, that's what we live in, and that's what we live and breathe, and that's
Yeah.
kind of what we do. Everything that we do is surrounded around music. People don't even realize, like, the best kind of therapy is just listening to good music or something, right?
Yeah,
So it's our whole life is surrounded by it. And what kind of music do you do?
we do everything. Audra, we do blues, country, soul, jazz, funk, metal.
Love that.
We do electronic. We do pop. So basically, I could be sifting through my diary, and I'll go, "You've got this amount to do," and what have I got? And I open it up, and it's like death metal. I'm like, my God, death metal, hate it.
Yeah.
And then someone goes, "Here's a bit of blues," and you get a wee bit of Americana blues. And not tomorrow, Thursday, I'm interviewing a gentleman from, I think it's Syracuse, I think, and he is called Big Daddy Wilson. This man is a blues legend, right?
Oh, I feel like
72, this dude is, right? And I did my review, and much like yours, when you get this, when I send this to you, you'll understand what I do. It's like I'm in the front row.
Yeah.
Transfixed on you, thinking I need to hear all the musicians, I need to hear all the instruments, and I pick up in different bits. And he said to me, "I'm so pleased that you picked every track and you felt you were there, and this is what I do."
Yeah.
And you get the most appreciation from blues and country and soul because
me too. That's my favorite. I mean, I love all kinds of music. I'm with you there. And but me growing up in Pennsylvania, I grew up right outside of Philadelphia, which is the ultimate soul city. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, my favorite kinds of music was definitely the blues and the soul and the R&B and with that country kind of stuff too. So it was just that's why I call it country soul, because it's just a mix of both. So
yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really good, it's one of those. It's a real good genre where you can just chill out, and just listen to it, and you don't get, oh, I missed this bit, I missed that bit, I need to go back, because it flows so well, which is brilliant. And this is what I get. I know yours is an upbeat kind of country song,
yeah.
But do you know what? I think it's a take on the times that we want to have.
Yes.
Do you know? And it's quite fun because you open a record and you stick it on. And what I do is I do a playthrough, so I'll listen to it first, and then if it's an album, I'll grab myself my bottle of red wine, and I'll start to do stuff, and I'll go back and take bits out and put bits in.
Oh, yeah.
because what I want to do, I want to give you as the artist the best experience. When
right.
I'm doing it. I don't want to go, oh, it's 10 tracks. I liked 6, I didn't like 4, and that's that. And people go, all right, okay. So for me, it's about giving the best experience I can for the artist, because I want you to understand that I've listened to your track, I've reviewed it and said this is it, and you'll go, wow,
I love that. Yeah, I love when people kind of like dissect almost. They're like, oh, this part, and that, and that's what's so cool about music. So I do the same thing, like just in my own head. I'm like, oh, like this has a little bit of elements of blues, and this kind of reminds me of like Whitney Houston, or so it's like my mind's always spinning whenever I listen to new tunes. Yeah. I'm like, hearing different inspirations and stuff.
Yeah. So what was the thought train behind moving to Nashville? Is it because of the country connection, or is it just where you thought you really wanted to fit in, or was it the place to be?
You know, when I had gotten off The Voice, I was on a season 6 of The Voice back in 2014 on Blake Shelton's team. And
Wait.
yeah, Team Blake. And I had always had a love for country music, you know, at a very young age. I mean, I listened to a lot of like 90s country. So, you know, going to like Shania Twain and Leanne Rimes and Leanne Womack and Martina McBride and a lot of the big vocalists, you know, is kind of who I drew to. And I guess after getting off of The Voice with Blake, I just was like, I know I need to, you know, move somewhere different that, you know, there's more of a music scene going on because, you know, back in like maybe more so like the 60s, Philadelphia had a really good music scene, but over years it kind of died out because a lot of the executives and stuff started to move to LA and to Nashville and to all these different cities. And so Philadelphia wasn't kind of the place to be. And so I know I needed to figure out a place where I could do that country, sultry R&B stuff. And at the time, after The Voice, it was slowly kind of going into more of that R&B-ish kind of vibe. Because country and all genres were very sort of always intertwined, but country kind of was always in its own lane for a little bit. Although it always had elements of so many different genres, I think more now than ever, it's more, you know, basically kind of out in the open that there's a little bit of soul, a little bit of R&B, because you got Stapleton and, you know, Luke Combs and all these different people. Well, there's just so many elements of music. So I think when I moved here about 3.5 years ago, I just felt like that's kind of where I would fit in into that mold of being able to sort of transpire the country and the soul. And honestly, it's been working out great because I have found so many amazing people that, you know, love that kind of music that I love. And so we've been starting to dive more into writing those sorts of songs. So yeah, I mean, it's a process, but you know, it's just finding the right people to work with, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, you know, going straight back there to when you were on The Voice, I mean, you know, you get lots of people and you think, oh, I'd love to do that, or I could do that, you know. So you've lived the dream, you know, you were on, you know, Blake's team, you know, and they always took good care of you. And I think it's all about you believing in yourself.
Yes,
You decided
absolutely.
to move, you know, from your safe, staple home to another place where you could grow, you know,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
be yourself, you know. And I think that's a massive big step.
Absolutely. And at the time, like 3.5 years ago, I was working with a manager, and he actually just passed away. His name was Jim Femino. He was a really important part of my life.
Well, I'm sorry for that. Sorry for that.
Thank you. But he was definitely the one that inspired me to move to Nashville. He had been here for about 20 years, and he would go back and forth from Pennsylvania to Nashville, and he was a country soul artist. That's kind of what he did his whole career. And so working with him, we had a lot of the same love of music, and he pretty much helped me define that genre, you know, for me at least. And so he kind of was the one to push me, like, you know, we need to get to Nashville, because it's like we had tried to do it in Pennsylvania, and it wasn't going anywhere, you know. So we had to kind of sit down and regroup, and he's like, I think it's time. I think that you need to move to Nashville. So that was the push I needed, you know. And it was like, I'm glad that I made that decision, and I'm glad that he helped me make that decision, because otherwise, who knows, I might have still been back, you know, in Pennsylvania and not knowing what, you know, to do. But I'm kind of glad that I took that leap of faith, because, you know, I've become more independent and have been able to sort of like make more decisions with music and kind of where I want to go and stuff. So
I think the thing is as well, you know, when you move and you do things, you do it on your own terms, you know. So you move into your own place, and if you make a decision, it's your decision. It's not the family's, or, you know, or a boyfriend's decision, or your sister, or whatever. It's your decision. And if it fails, you can say, you know, I failed on my own. And if you stayed in Penn, you would think, maybe I'm never going to make it. Maybe, you know, so you think, I have to do it. Because the thing is, if you go to Nashville and it doesn't work out, you can always come back.
Yes.
If you're in Penn and you don't move, you're
Right.
kind of, you know, you're kind of stuck, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. And I think that was the biggest thing for me was like I have such a great relationship with my family. I'm so close with my mom and dad, and I'm so lucky to have that. It's a blessing. And
Yeah.
they've always been like my cheerleaders and my number one, you know, supporters and fans. And it was very hard for all of us. I mean, because we were crying hysterically, but you know, then we were like, my dad, it's funny, his way of like, you know, dealing with, he goes, well, I just always try to think you're there for college. You're there and you can always come back home and you can always come visit. We can visit you. And so we make it work, and FaceTime helps, you know, this type of stuff, the FaceTime, the Zoom and everything. That helps tremendously. But yeah, it was very hard packing up and leaving your home that you lived your entire life. But it's like in the business that we're in, we have to take those leaps of faith, because if we don't, then we might regret it later down the line. And I just didn't want to have any regrets, you know?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Someone takes your place and you think, if only 6 months ago I would have done this, and you see someone flying, you go, that could have been me. So I guess, you know, you're right to take that chance, you know?
absolutely.
I always say that I've got a son who lives in Australia. And he was supposed to go to Australia 4 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And he's unfortunately, his girlfriend passed away. And
Oh,
yeah,
I'm,
so young, 19, 19.
I'm so sorry. Oh
No,
my God.
listen, Audra, it's a, you know, it's one of those things. It's, you know, it's a life changing thing. But
Yeah.
you know, I think he's now come out the other side. You know, when she passed, and we waited a long time for the autopsy and stuff. And then he said to me 2.5 years ago, Dad, I'm going to Australia. And I was like, great. And then he said to me, but I'm not coming back.
Oh,
And I was like, what? Hold on. And what I think he was wanting to do was go over there and end his life. And I said to him, and I was on the phone every single day. And I'm like, listen, mate, you know, don't be doing this, don't be doing that. And
right.
then it kind of went quiet. And then 2 years ago, he phones me and he says, Dad, I'm going to Australia. And I'm thinking, great, you know, a couple of months, you know, when are you coming back? And he said, oh, 18 months. I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
what? You know, so, but like yourself, Audra, he's gone over there, he's thriving, you know, he's got
Yeah.
a really good job. He's found a little girlfriend. He's got lots of mates. And
Right.
the Australian rock scene is really buoyant at the moment. So I'm putting him in touch with a lot of rock
Yeah.
bands,
Is
you know.
he in a band and he does music?
No, he's a grime man. He loves his grime. You know, he does his record mixing and things like this.
Nice.
He's not a rock fan. Although he has seen Jeff Tate.
Oh,
I got
okay.
him, I got him to see Jeff Tate in concert. And another one that will come to me. And he said, that was really cool. I really like that. And there's a lot of rock bands who I'm saying to him, you can go and review for me, and we'll do a live review because of the time difference. And he's like, wow,
Yeah.
that's really cool, Dad. You know, that you can talk to the band while I'm streaming. And he's like, I think he thinks it's insane. You know, he said, my dad's a maniac, you know, but but I said to him, but you know what? It's so fun. See this, you know, doing this, talking to you guys. It's
Yeah.
incredible. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But you know, the music scene is just incredible.
Oh yeah.
But you know, he's over there. He's settled. You know, he's like, yeah. I went out there the other day to buy a pair of jeans, and they were $299. And I'm like, what would have made of gold? And he said, and he's like, no, Dad, that's just the price.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Wow, you know, wow, what are you doing? But
Yeah.
he's so settled, you know. So I guess like, for you, that was the thing, you know, to settle yourself in Nashville, you know, and find yourself, you
That,
know.
yeah, definitely. I agree. I think that's sort of what it's been, is just finding myself and finding more about, you know, the type of music that I want to write and the type of music that I want to put out, and you know, the meaning behind the songs, and kind of what I want to say and those types of things, you know. And that's a lot of what it is. You know, if you don't ever spread your wings, you know, to fly, you never really do find yourself. So it's just, again, it's like it's just one of those things. You just have to kind of keep doing that.
Absolutely. So what about some new music? What's happening on the music scene? Do we have anything?
Yeah, so I mean, my producers and I, Jimmy and Johnny, Johnny
Yeah.
Mattingly, who I've worked with, or who I've been working with the last year and a half, we've been talking about different songs, you know, to try to pick a song for the fall, and so we're kind of working on that right now, since we've had the summer song kind of running right now, and that's what we've been promoting and stuff. But now we're in the process of picking the next song, so you're always looking ahead.
You have to. I think you have to keep moving, Audra. You know, I think
Yes,
it's, you know,
absolutely.
you
Yeah,
don't
no
want to stay
matter
still.
what.
Do you have an album in the offing yet?
We've talked about putting together like an EP of some sort. So we've talked about trying to figure out some dates to get in the studio and kind of just do a bulk of a few songs. That way I can have, you know, a full like 6-song like EP type thing to just release and everything. So yep, we've been talking about all that. So it's been going.
Cool. Now, obviously, probably 5 minutes before we finish, I give my artists the chance to get their merch out there, tell us all about their stuff, where they can find their stuff. And then what I say to them is, you have to come to Glasgow to start your world tour. So you don't go anywhere else in the world. You fly to Scotland, you touch down in Glasgow, you call me up, we start your world tour, and then you fly back to America. And that's it. That's all you have to do, Audra. So nothing else. You can plug your merch and then tell the world when you're going to come to Glasgow and start your world tour. That's all I need from you.
Absolutely. I know Donna and I have been talking. We need to figure out when I can come over there.
Absolutely.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah, but you know though, you know, Audrey, I listen to your voice, and I, you know, I don't say this lightly. You have an incredible voice.
Thank you so much.
It's so melodic and it's so relatable. And obviously that's why I ask about more music, because, you know, as a reviewer and an interviewer, you know, I only go on what I've got in front of me, you know, your track. But I guess the world needs more Audra Mclaughlin. They need more in their life. So you have to get Jimmy and Johnny, get them on it, and get an album sorted, and get Donna sorted, and get the world moving, and get to Glasgow for your world tour.
Yes.
Nothing else.
I know. It's I think a lot of us, you know, with just COVID, we've been just trying to figure out, you know, when the best time is to plan, you know, tour and all that stuff. But I'm ready to go whenever.
you have to get here. You really do. So what's the plans for the rest of today? Just chilling out and hanging out?
Yeah, I've got some stuff. I've got to go over some songs and things that I want to review. I've got some unpacking to do since I just got back from being with my family and just kind of going through, you know, emails and things like that, you know, all the stuff that we do and social media and such. So there's always something to do.
So when is your next live stream? Have you got something planned, or?
I am going to be planning another live stream very soon. Since I just got back, I have a bunch of shows like coming up this week. So I'm going to set a date to do like an actual like live stream concert on my Facebook page, since it's been a little while since the summer just kept me slammed with gigs, which, like I said, I'm so blessed for that. But I've been gigging almost like 5 or 6, you know, nights a week, which has been nuts. But now that things are, you know, fall's kind of kicking up too, I'm probably going to be doing a lot more live streams. That way I can, you know, people that can't come out and see my shows yet, or, you know, anything like that, they can at least tune into me online. So I'm going to be planning that soon, and I'll definitely let you know, or I'll be posting it on my socials and stuff.
Absolutely. Because I think that's, you know, the mainstay for, you know, for almost British fans at the moment, when they have a live stream, because, you know, it's almost like you're there with the artist.
Oh yeah,
thing, you know?
no, I agree. I mean, like I said, during the entire pandemic, I mean, I was just doing live streams probably like once or twice a week. And then once live shows picked back up, I slowed down a bit, and I typically try to plan one, you know, like for like maybe twice a month, that type of deal, so I can let people know and sort of promote it, and that way more people can tune in and that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, basically I'm on every social media. Like I tell everybody just to go to my website at audramclaughlin.com, and you can find like, say, the latest tour dates or when new music is coming out, new releases, new merch, stuff like that. So, yeah, there's always stuff going on. And so I just send people there because my Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff's attached. I'm on TikTok, so I'm always trying to balance all the socials.
Listen, I think in this day and age, I think you have to, Now, just on that, when the video will probably be out in 2 days.
Oh,
Our video, this one. The most important one. The most important one, Audra. This will be out in 2 days' time. I have 180 to 200,000 views every month.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
Yeah, it's really crazy, man. It's crazy busy. Yeah. And basically, one of the artists that I did today, I did a video with her a few days back, and it's been viewed 2,000 times. So what happens? Yeah, we send it to America, and you send it to New York and places like that. It goes all over Australia. It goes to Europe. So. Yeah. A radio station may pick it up, or a TV station, or or a podcaster may pick it up. And people contact me and go, "You did an interview with so and so." Yeah, and we put them in touch. So this is a great format, to get
absolutely
out there.
Yeah, and thank you so much, Darren. I appreciate you taking out the time to do this. And
listen, not a problem. It's my pleasure.
Donna's been an angel. She's been just amazing, trying to connect me with everybody, and I can't wait to get over there and do some tour dates.
I think that's the thing. I think that there is a lot of British talent, but I think the crux of it is American, and I think just trying to get you guys over here. As I say, I think I've done about 6 or 8 interviews, and most of them have been in Nashville.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, wow.
I've got a young friend over there, a young girl called Caitlin Cook.
I think I've heard that name. Yeah.
She's a girl called Jax Hollow. She's like a little rocker chick.
Yes, I think I have heard her name. Yes, definitely.
And my friend of all friends, Mr. John Karabi.
Yes, heard that too.
He lives in Nashville, and he's always talking about it, and I'm thinking, and then what happens? It's like buses, you get, yourself. I've had Caitlin, I've had Jax, I've had John, and I had another band about 6 months ago. I'm like, where are you from? Like, Nashville. Like, my God, everybody must live in Nashville. It's like just cramming it in there,
Well, and that's the thing about Nashville is like, I love Nashville, I really do. It's just like, it's so flooded here. And, for me to even have the opportunities to hopefully get over to the UK and tour, I'm more than happy and honored to do that, because it's like, it's so hard to get things going here, at a super quick, basically. So like my plan with Donna and her team is to get a tour going over there. And that way, then maybe we can get more traction in America. So it's a process. Nashville is just thick. Everybody comes here, and it's like there's so much competition, and I love it. I do. I love Nashville, but it is very flooded. And so I think, going other places and touring and building your fan base other places and connecting with other people is, I think, a lot better than just fully focusing on trying to break into Nashville.
Yeah, you're right. I was talking to a band last week, and I said to them, are you doing some tours? And they're like, we're doing a show tomorrow. And I said, where are you going? They were from Bozeman in Montana.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, we're traveling 8 hours to get to the show. And I said, where is it? And they said, in Montana.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so you're traveling 8 hours in Montana to get to Montana? And they said, yeah, it's so vast. So
yeah,
yes, that for you guys, there's such a lot of competition, because there are so many places, which is
well,
it's good.
And that's the thing. Yeah, it's a good thing. I mean, but it's also too, like, since Nashville is so flooded and there's so many of us, a lot of times some of the venues, it's like you don't get paid really what you might be worth, And so a lot of times, and not to bash Nashville whatsoever, I mean, I love this city and it's amazing and the support is great here, but also because of like there's so many of us, it's just I feel as though like if you start doing stuff on the outskirts, you're better off maybe building a following more so that way than just focusing on like downtown and that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I just I've been doing shows outside of, you know, Nashville and stuff, just trying to, you know, build other, you know, places. So
I think you have to go where you feel it's right, you know, and where you think you're going to fit in. Because if you stick to Nashville, you're thinking, I'm playing with the same people, you know, 3-4 times a week. People are going to go, I'm getting bored with that. So
that's right. That's right. And a lot of times you get stuck in that because you're relying on tips and, you know, parking is terrible downtown. And it's just like, it's just crazy. Honestly, the bartenders are making more money than the musicians half the time. And so it's like, you know, it's a catch-22. It's like, we're the musicians who make up it's Music City, but yet we're the ones that, you know, are kind of not, you know, I don't know how to explain it. It's just, it's a hard, it's a hard way to explain it without sounding like I'm you know,
listen,
being mean.
Not at all. I think you have to, you know, I think you have to stick up for your own industry and you have to, you know, this guy's making more than me because he's serving a drink and I'm here playing to 50 people and getting $100 and
$100,
not fair, you know, it's really not fair. But this is your chance to shine. Tell everybody about your merch, where they can find you, where they can buy loads of stuff. You have 2 minutes. Time is yours.
Absolutely. I tell people to go to my website, audramclaughlin.com. My merchandise guy is actually working on a new website for me, or a new merchandise store for me. So that's down at the moment, but it's going to be back up very soon. And that way they'll be able to just go to audramclaughlin.com and find all that. So
there we go. You've heard it first, guys. audramclaughlin.com. Get all your merch, get all your records, and hopefully we will see you in Britain, in Glasgow, very soon.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Now, this is Darren from Jace Media in conversation with the fabulous Audra Mclaughlin, all the way from Nashville. It's been an absolute pleasure, Audra. It's been great for you. I really appreciate your time. I hope you stay safe.
You too, Darren. Thank you.
Yeah, we're all good. Come and see us soon. And I wish you the best of luck with your next run of 4 or 5 shows. I will send you my review to your email, please. And you can post it on your socials and stuff. And
awesome.
Like, who's this crazy dude that's sending stuff through the post?
No, I love it. I love it. Thank you, Darren. I appreciate it.
Listen, you're absolutely welcome, Audra. You take care. Fantastic to talk to you.
Thank you. You too, Darren. I appreciate your time.
No problem at all. You take care.